Hey, Katrina here from Scrappy Horses. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a very quick time in Cricut Design Space today before we head off to make this bag and tag for the Pop Challenge. Pop Challenge this time is inspired by patterns, and I am inspired by an argyle or diamond pattern. So let's get started. First off, I just want to show you what I did in Cricut Design Space. So I'm going to go ahead and bring over a photo here first. The bag is made from SVG large holiday bag. All I did was use the front and back panel. This is the front and this is the back. As you can see, the back folds in and the front stays flat. I went ahead and just cut a rectangle bottom out of cereal box, and I'll show you that in the put together. Now, I did want to share with you about the tag. This tag, I used this piece right here from Wonderings, and it's just this piece. It is not a tag. So I just want to show you how I made it into a tag. I just simply took this piece, I did a Command Copy, Command V. Then I came over here to my right hand panel, hit Contour, hide all contours, and that gave me this piece right here. I took these two pieces, selected them, came up to a line, and center vertically. That way they were exactly on the same plane. I selected the one on the right. Using my arrow on my keyboard, I'm just moving it to the left until they almost meet up. Almost. I'm going to go one more. And you know what? We're going to make this really big so we can actually see what we're doing. So you can see here, there's just a little sliver of white. Now I'm going to come in to shapes. I'm going to bring in a square. I'm going to rotate it 90. I'm typing this in at my keyboard. I'm going to make this thin. And see where it connects, like it's almost connected there and it's almost connected there. I'm just going to take this in and I'm going to line it up right there. If you have trouble changing the size, if you make it larger, you can get a better handle on it. So I'm going to come in and just basically let it go about here and about there. I'm going to swipe over the whole thing and I'm going to combine, weld. And now it's going to stay together. Now I'm going to add a score line. And I want to get that centered in as closely as I can. I'm going to go ahead and select them both and attach my score line. And that is how I came up with this tag. Now this is going to sit behind there, and this little 7 is from Kate's ABCs, and it's going to sit right in like so. Obviously this bag was for a 7 birthday number 7. All right, we're heading off to put this bag together. It's a really easy put together. So I will see you at the craft table. Here we are at the craft table. I have everything cut, and I have gathered a few other things. Some tulle, double score tape, embroidery floss, the pieces that I cut, and a little bit of teal lace for my stash. Here are the box front and back. Although the scores are there, I like to deepen them up a little bit. So I pull out my scoreboard and I just add in all of the scores. This may not always be necessary. However, this cardstock is pretty thick. I love this cardstock for boxes and bags, especially because you can You can put some good sized things in them. I also love this SVG large holiday bag cut for that same reason. You can alter the sizes in Cricut Design Space and you can get a pretty good size bag out of this. I will list below the cardstock that I'm using. It's old cardstock from my stash, so I'm pretty sure it's no longer available, but I will list it in case you might have it in your stash and you may have forgotten about it. Once I finished adding my score lines and deepening those up on the front and back sections, I added double score tape to the sides and to the bottom of this bag. Now, I did not cut the bottom that came with the bag. I seldom do. I usually just measure and cut a rectangle, which you'll see here in a minute. I'm going to cover my double score tape with some Fabri-Tac. I do this to give myself a little bit of wiggle room. Many times I'll lay it on there and I won't get it straight. And I learned after ripping up cardstock time and time again that if I just use a little bit of that Fabri-Tac over, I can actually pick it back up. I can just sort of slide it around. I can do whatever I need to do. So almost always you will see me use Fabri-Tac over. Also with Fabri-Tac, if you get a little bit on the side, you can just wipe it up with a baby wipe like you just saw me do. I'm going to fold down the bottom now, and I'm bringing in you saw a popcorn box. I ended up using a cereal box. I cut it on my paper slicer, and now I'm going to take the edge that actually has the graphic on it. I'm going to glue that straight down onto some white cardstock. I'm going to bump it up to the edge on the left-hand side and the top, then take it over to my paper slicer and slice off the excess white. Now I'm going to take that, and again, I'm going to use that Fabri-Tac over the tape, and I'm going to take that piece of cardstock and just glue it into place, keeping my corners as square as I can. Then on the inside, I'll just drop a piece of white cardstock down in there, and then it's white on the inside also. I'm going to take some pieces of Tulle Ribbon, just tie double knots. That's all I'm doing. I'm going to do a handle on the front and a handle on the back. Just that simple. Nothing complex here. Just a double knot and it's done. I like using tulle, especially the sparkly tulle, because it's just kind of fun and makes it a little bit special, especially for little girls. It's really nice for wedding, anniversary, that kind of gift also. Now I'm going to go ahead, add a little Fabri-Tac at the very top. I'm doing a very thin bead right along the top of this bag. I'm just going to add a little thin strip of that sort of turquoise teal kind of lace. And again, I didn't get it straight when I did it before. It just comes right back up, and then it will go ahead and dry securely. But until it dries, it's pretty easy to work with. I just put it on the front of the bag to save my lace. Now I'm going to come in with that tag that we created. I'm going to take the sparkly cardstock and adhere it into the base of the tag there. Then I'll close that up and I will add that little number 7. But then I decided, you know what, I want to do something special with the 7. Laid it down directly onto the embossing ink, and then I just covered it with white embossing powder. I did this twice. So you'll see me, I'll heat up my heat gun here, and I'm going to go ahead and melt that powder. And then I decided I need a little more. I want it shinier. So I did the whole process again. And when I did it this time, it turned out even whiter and shinier. So you can do that. You can heat emboss over something several times. In fact, sometimes I'll even change colors And that's kind of fun too if you don't get it quite all covered, and it can give it sort of a rustic look. All right, anyway, moving on. I'm going to hole punch the tag, and I just punch through both layers, front and back. I'm going to go ahead and come in with some embroidery floss and just go through the back. And I'm just going to loop it and then run my tails through the loop. So you'll see that, you know, I'll just loop it over, stick it through the hole, and then run the tails through the inside of that loop. I'm not sure if I'm going to give you a real close-up shot of that or not, but I'm sure if you've done much crafting, you know what I'm talking about. No, I am off camera, so you're not really going to see it, I'm afraid. I'm sorry about that. So there I am. I put the loop through, and now I'm going to run the tails through that. All right, not a very good picture of it. I apologize for that. Now I'm going to come in and glue my little number 7 into place because that's important for the 7th birthday. Once that little 7 is into place, I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive onto my stamp block and dip these little sequins in and just put a cluster of sequins on this tag. I usually end my videos with sequins or gems, but this time it's a big froofy bow. And what better on a little girl's package than a big froofy bow? This bow's made from seam binding, and it has 3 little loops on each side. Hey, thanks for joining me today. This was a really fun project inspired by that argyle sort of look. Any questions or comments, please leave it in the box below, and I'll leave the information for you about this challenge there also. Have a wonderful week. I'll catch up with you in the next video. Bye.